Hi there, good evening. I'm going to do a short practice based around the hamstrings and hip flexors and quads. So opening the fronts of the hips and thighs, and then the back of the thigh also. Preparation for a posture called Hanumanasna, which is a splits pose, but we're not doing the posture in this session. I'm going to follow this session up with a stronger session, and we'll work a little more towards Hanumanasana in that session. But this is the light session. And we will start in child's pose. So come over and just really take your time to nestle in to child's pose. So see how it feels as you flex your hips, as you sit back towards your heels. You might want to do that a few times, come forward and back, and ease your way out and into the posture, and drop your forehead down on the floor. And as always, we spend a moment or two centering, just finding our breath. Allowing the inhalation to become more spacious. And with the exhalation, just washing away some of your tension, your distraction. And we just feel some of the tension sliding away. Now if it feels intense, if you feel compression in the fronts of your hips, you may like to just lift yourself up, ease out, and then come back in to the posture. And we'll take another 2 or 3 breaths here. Long inhale. And long exhale. And then bring yourself up onto your hands and knees. So tabletop pose, turn your toes under. Spread out your fingers, soften your elbows, and just mobilize your spine by exhaling and drawing your tail under, looking in towards your center. And then inhaling and opening your frontal space. And again, exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. And do one more. And then just drop back to your heels again. So, child's pose, reach the sit bones back, reach forward with your arms, lengthen both sides of your waist, rest your forehead down, close your eyes. We come up again and onto our hands and knees, so tabletop pose. And we're just going to warm up the hips and the legs a little bit, the hip flexors, the hamstrings. Bring the right knee on your exhale in towards your face. So as you exhale, you come in, your nose drops towards your knee. So there's a little bit of spinal flexion here, but there's also flexion in your hips. You'll feel your hip flexors as you draw your knee in. And then on your inhale, go the other way, take the leg up and back. Now here you just feel the glutes and the hamstrings as you press the foot up towards the ceiling. You can open your heart, so there's a little bit of spinal extension. And then again, just come in, exhale. And inhale up and back. Exhale in. Inhale up and back. And do that twice more. So keep it nice and slow. So you're moving with your strength rather than swinging the leg. One more. Exhale in. Inhale up and back. Open the heart. Press the foot a little higher. And then slowly you lower down. And then you do the same thing, other side. So we exhale, bring the knee in. Inhale up and back. So again, strength rather than momentum. Really elongate your breath. Twice more. Nose to your knee. Up and back. And one more. And lower down. Good. So again, just drop back and let the wrists rest. Nice long breath. Good. In your own time, you come up again onto your hands and knees, tabletop pose. We press the hands and toes, and we rise up and into downward facing dog. So nice slow transition. Drop the head down. And then ease out your hamstrings a little bit here. So you come up onto both sets of toes as you inhale. And then bend your left leg a little bit, but reach down through your right heel. So you open the back of your right leg. Inhale, both sets of toes. And exhale down. Left heel. Open the back of your left leg. Rest in child's pose if you need to, otherwise do that again. So both sets of toes, this is your inhale. And then exhale, right heel down. Both sets of toes. Exhale, left heel down. Last time, inhale. And then exhale, both heels down. And at the same time, as you reach down through your heels, try and lift up through your sit bones so you feel the opening in the backs of your legs. You know if you need to, you can just bend your knees a little bit if it feels too intense Take a breath. And then when you feel ready, walk your feet towards your hands. So you come about hip distance apart with your feet. Be sure that your feet are parallel. Lift your heart, lengthen your spine, and then drop down into your fold. Now, if you feel that your back feels fragile or vulnerable, you can lean on your thighs, make the fold a little easier. Support your back. If it feels okay for you, you can drop all the way down and into Uttanasana. Resist the temptation to push or pull. You can encourage the opening in the backs of your legs by engaging into the fronts of your legs. So it's like you're trying to pull up your kneecaps and thighs, and that maybe just asks your hamstrings to lengthen a little bit. But be sure that you're not forcing your legs out and locking your knees. So there's still a bit of space in the joints. The head is hanging. And we can maybe stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. Feeling the whole posterior side of the body, all the way through the backs of the legs. All the way through your back body, all the way through your neck. Releasing. One more breath. Good. When you're ready, lift your heart, lengthen. And we're going to step the left leg back for a lunge. So, nice slow transition. Wiggle the left toes back just as far as you comfortably can. Lower the left knee down. Come into your lunge. Now, maybe use a couple of blocks here so that you have more support. Sometimes with the hands a little bit higher, we can bring the heart forward and take the rounding out of the upper back. And just allow yourself here to sink downward and forward. We want to feel some opening through the front of your left thigh and into the front of your left hip, and some opening through the back of your right leg. And we just stay here for a few breaths. Try and feel that you yield a little bit as you exhale, you soften, that your pelvis sinks downward and forward on the exhales. You bring your inhales up towards your chest and you open your heart. And your exhales, you sink down. Now we shift the weight back and we're making preparation for Ardha Hanumanasana. So this is a half splits pose, but we're going to take it very gently. You're lifting your right heel forward and you're squaring your right hip back. Now, if you want padding underneath your left knee, you can use a blanket right there under your left knee if it feels a little bit uncomfortable. You bury your right heel here in the yoga mat and you draw back a little bit into your right hip, as if you're trying to draw the right femur back into the pelvis. Our tendency is to swing this right hip forward. We need to square the pelvis and draw the hip back. And then see if you can pull the toes in towards you. So you dorsiflex your foot. And then rather than allowing your tail to tuck under, try and reach back with your sit bones. So you move your pelvis from posterior tilt towards an anterior tilt. And you feel the way that adjustment, moving the right sit bone further away from the right heel, opens up the stretch in the back of your right leg. And then of course, again, if you pull up your quads, engage the front of your right leg, that will help you to straighten the knee a little bit more. Whenever that feels like enough, you can draw the right foot back in, so you come back into your lunge. And there might be strong sensation there in your right leg. When you feel ready, you step your left foot forward and you come back into Uttanasana. You lift the heart. Remember, you have this option of supporting your forward fold. Try and let the head hang, even if you're leaning on your thighs. Or you can go all the way down. Nice long breath. Maybe give the head a little bob. Try and let the neck relax, let the shoulders drop. And then when you're ready, we take the same two postures on the other side. So you're stepping back with your right leg. Lowering your right knee down when you're ready. Finding the right space here. Maybe again employing the blocks so that you can lengthen your spine. What we don't want to do here is kind of hunch the back. So we need to feel that we can draw the breastbone through and forward. Sometimes having a bit more height here really helps us to do that. You might like to lift the back knee and sink it down again. And then again, just taking a few breaths here, being patient and allowing the pelvis to sink downward and forward. Try and feel your collarbones are nice and wide, your heart is open. Long, steady breath. And then shifting the weight back and lifting the left heel forward. So be a little bit careful with that transition. Pad your right knee if you need to. And then again, you bury the heel in the mat and draw the left femur, left thigh bone back into the hip. So you square back the left half of your pelvis. At the same time you bring your heart forward. You draw the toes in towards you. You engage the front of your thigh to help you straighten your knee. Make sure you're not forcing here. You don't want to press this leg into overextension. And keep the posture nice and active, drawing the femur back into the hip. And then there's that adjustment in your pelvis. So rather than this tucked under tail, reach the sit bones back. At the same time, reach the heart forward. And you feel the way that really wakes up the stretch in the back of your leg. And one more breath. You can bring the left heel in towards you. Set your blocks off to the side again. Step into your left foot and see if you can float your right foot forward. Lift your heart. Take a variation of forward fold that works for you. So supported is fine. Deeper if it feels okay. And a long inhale. And a long exhale. Lifting the heart. We move back into downward facing dog. And again, you release down through your heels. You lift your sit bones. And you feel the backs of the legs opening. When it's enough, you lower your knees. Drop back into child's pose again and take a moment. You'll feel sensation in your legs. Nice pulse of energy. Your thighs. You take a breath there. And then when you're ready, bring yourself over and onto your seat. Take the legs forward. You bring yourself into Dandasana. So we're looking to lengthen the legs, but also lengthen the spine. So we lift the heart, we drop down into the sit bones, reach away through the heels. If you need a micro bend in your legs, you could roll a blanket here and put underneath the backs of your legs for a bit of support. If you find that your pelvis would rather posterior tilt, if your pelvis wants to sit back, so if naturally your pelvis is moving in this direction, you might like to lift just at the very back of your pelvis there. Okay, so give yourself support if you need it. Drop your hands down alongside your hips. Lift your heart up. This is not an easy posture. So reach away through the heels, drop down through the backs of the legs, bring the belly in, navel towards the spine, lift and open the heart and take a breath here. Collarbones are wide. Fronts of the thighs again are active. And if you feel that you're in a place where you can fold forward without straining your back, you might want to walk your sit bones further back. You can come forward. Okay, no push or pull. You're not forcing or dragging yourself into your fold. You might like to open up space, lift the heart, and then back down and into your fold. So again, the whole posterior side is open. Take a breath. Good. And come slowly up. We come onto our backs. And again, just balancing out here, we're going to open the fronts of the thighs and the hip flexors. So pressing into your feet, you lift your hips. We want to feel that we open through quads, through hip flexors. So you need to squeeze the buttocks behind the hips to help you open the fronts of your hips. You press a little bit higher so you feel the opening through the anterior side, through the front lines. Taking your arms up and over your head is just optional here. When you're ready, down slowly, upper back, middle back, lower back. Release all the way down. You notice here how your body sinks and settles, how we drop into the floor. Give the legs a rock from side to side. Just a very light twist action. As many times as you feel you'd like to or you need to. And then bring your knees in and towards you, so you come into Ardha Hanumanasana and hug it out here. Give your legs a nice hug in. You're probably still feeling some sensation from the practice in the legs. You might like to circle around. Maybe the other way, or cradle rock. And then when you're ready, you can release your feet to the floor and come into semi-supine. Take a breath. Or all the way down and into Shavasana, if that feels okay. You feel the way the legs lengthen and relax. Maybe the legs feel a little longer. The hips and the knees more spacious. I'd urge you to stay here for a few minutes more, releasing through your exhales and nourishing through your inhales. I'll leave you here to rest. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.